we just need one on himself in Millie Island. No, but it's a good testament to see how good the teams are adapting to the circle and the other teams in the lobby, of course.
All right, yeah, there you go. Froz, let's get that milli circle. You know what? Why not? Let's get match number 8 underway. A huge thank you to Intel for joining us as we have set sail. We're moving on to Erangel now from Miramar, and we've got Pansy and Hypoc to guide us.
Alrighty, back into Erangel we go. First glimpse, I guess, today, and I kind of have to look at what looks different than yesterday. One, yes, the circles, but two, the teams. The likes of Sonics have woken up, and in some style too. They have had a rude awakening maybe from yesterday, feeling, look, that wasn't what we wanted to do. We want to come out and look fantastic. And well, today they have. They've looked formidable in fights. They've had no easy games either. There's sometimes you'll see a team simply be in the right place and play the circle well. And you can't discredit it, but I am more impressed by seeing like Sonics who've fought into these circles, who've fought for those positions. It's very impressive to watch. So again, great approach from them, and I hope we get to see that here. But beyond that, Europe's doing well today. Obviously, the likes of Virtus Pro picking up a great deal of momentum. Liquid still staying relevant, not quite seeing those highs that we saw, but I mean, that final game they brought out was pretty impressive too.
Well, no, but again, we did see Liquid heat up towards Erangel yesterday as well. So eyes towards the last 3 games for that. But just on the back, I did want to touch a little thing on FaZe. And earlier we were kind of talking about this kind of, capitalizing on bad circles, right? In PUBG, we always say, you should always win the games you're set up to win, right? Good drop, good circle one pop, good plane, loads of times to loot, and you get a first dibs on a compound, right? Hold that thought. It's Vard. Of all people, again, it's Vard having to deal with a vehicle at the start, but this time it's going to be concluded a little quicker than yesterday. But FaZe yesterday, I saw a lot of people questioning that split in the chat. Now, okay, Vard actually got the tag on Blue there behind, so it's a decent shot. But I actually liked it. Right, and losing Fuzzface early, yes, you can say it was a little sloppy. There was no real response to that. There was no contingency plan to if one player got isolated, right? But it's things like that. You want to see teams kind of capitalize in the mid game, right? That's things like playing these ambitious splits and going for kill points when you think, look, we either kill some people and clear our way into the circle, or we're going to have, like you said, playing the numbers on it. We haven't got a great chance of getting into this. So that split from FaZe, yes, it looks super greedy and it looks super scrappy, and it's difficult really to wrap your head around it. Actually, there were 2 very safe spots up until kind of circle 5 kind of started to close. They had a really good opportunity to farm kills. I mean, that fight up on the north side between Na'Vi and I can't remember who it was. It might have been AAA potentially, but they were unfortunate not to kind of get more kills off that on the south side of that split. Fuzzface, I think, overextended just a little bit, but it's things like that you want to see teams kind of correct their average points per game by making plays like that. So I actually really liked it. I just saw chat give them a lot of heat. If that had paid off, I'm sure everybody would have been singing their praises, and it would have been one of those, FaZe-S games that they come out and win from nowhere. Of course.
I mean, there's hindsight and all of that is 2020. It's very easy to look back and go, well, why didn't you do that? Obviously, they don't have all the information we do. They don't see the entire map. Obviously, this is clear stuff. But again, I think we bring up a point here, and it's something that I think I'm happy seeing more teams do, is understanding their scenario isn't necessarily a good one, and having to play somewhat the low odds, where it's, well, we have to be proactive here. We have to either try and fight our way out and get points through that, and if we make it through, brilliant, but we have to make high risk, high reward plays that have a low percentage to actually work, because otherwise we die here. We die and there's nothing more to it. And I'm happy to start seeing that more often when teams have such good a grip on what the correct play is and what's the best one to keep them potentially alive. For now, though, just to kind of touch in on the circle, as I said, it is kind of a little bit more northern than before. The river that runs through has somewhat divided the north and south, so it should be interesting to see where teams opt for. Again, this is a bit of it's not necessarily Sophie's choice, but it's a 50-50, right? It's, do you believe it will go towards that kind of band south of shooting range? It's a common spot that people like to kind of, hedge their bets towards. Or do you believe more of a Roshawk, School, maybe even Yesnaya Fields ending? So plenty of different mindsets could be applied to this. We'll have to see what the teams opt for. Plenty of teams already on the way as well. 4 a.m. in the vehicles moving. They're heading towards the northern side of the island.
Yeah, one thing actually I have noticed throughout the weekly finals, and yes, we can talk about obviously the switch up meta-wise, obviously super settings, but lots of teams opting for these early moves. And some of these teams, I mean, it's also a split as well of teams that are moving early to try and capitalize on isolating one player that's still in that loot drop kind of formation, kind of, I guess, stuck out on an island, whether it be a compound or whatever. But lots of teams kind of looking to kind of make early moves as 4. I was talking about that earlier as well. So you can't be too greedy. If you do get that circle 1 pop and you have the ability to split, they need to complement each other because we've seen it a lot. The 4-man Zerg you pull up, and I think it was Kurt yesterday got singled out in pretty much the first scenario of it on Miramar for SDK. But it's been really interesting to see some of these teams actually make a kind of measurable switch up to their playstyle.
And just briefly, because I know obviously people are tuning in who maybe don't watch PUBG all the time, could you just give a little expansion on what super settings kind of entail, I guess? You know, just the brief rundown. Just as I said, maybe people don't watch PUBG all the time, but just a brief summary would be good. Actually, hold on, we can come back to that. See, depends what VAR does here. PO has committed to this. I wonder if the rest of Gen G do. And Nonix, yeah, he's hovering around. Wookiee's kind of joined Vard, and you don't really want to be living side by side here. So again, we can kind of continue that topic in a moment's time once this is resolved one way or another. This nade could be wonderful. Right through the window, Wookiee and Vard. Yeah, gorgeous nade from PO. There's no recovery from that. Now Vard's a little baffled. Oh, that could be a flush right there. Yeah, goodbye. See you later, Wookiee. No fun to be had this time. Gen G want in, and the damage is coming from Furia.
Yeah, Vard getting tagged up, and now the reinforcements from Gen G coming through. I mean, this is exactly the scenario I was talking about. Just an early move. We did actually see Oath just get absolutely torn apart by infantry in the kill feed, but on board right now with Vard trying to stay alive. Necro sending shots down this way. I guess trying to help Vard, if anything. Gen G are now reinforced into the ground floor of this flat top. And this is literally exactly the scenario I was talking about. 2 players isolated, still looting or trying to hold on to this as kind of a foothold inside the circle for the rest of the team to come through. Necro
that nade might be good.
Oh my God, Vard actually got 2 knocks with that. But Esther will clean it up.
That actually was a pretty nice nade. I mean, luckily, Esther was a little further ahead, so can turn and pick him up. I like the commitment. This is what I mean. Gen G opting to commit for this position, risk life for this spot. They pulled up on a pre-established team. They maybe had a better read than expected, keeping good track on it forever. Speaking of good track, keeps a nice little lock in towards Kill Demo, who sadly his car is somewhat escaped him.
The vehicle actually nearly provided the perfect moving cover for him, but he couldn't keep up with it. But again, just coming back to this discussion, look at the minimap now. There's a few teams that rotated early. 4 a.m. was the one that was on the screen when I mentioned this. Now they've got themselves spread across a couple of single buildings, not compounds, but Forever's spot there is a high traffic area of the map, right? You can pick up a few rotation kills, and this is
a bridge camp on this circle?
Yes.
Animals. Absolute animals. Oath must be livid.
I'm pretty sure their snake has hit that tree and there was no attempt to reverse. So I think he was just like, yeah, I'm dead. And that was hands off keyboard and mouse, walk away.
Wow.
You do love to see it though.
Else.
You really do.
Oh no, I pray for bridge camps. It's why I'm sad that the other settings don't really support the concept of it. I love a bridge camp. It's a bottleneck. It's where else can they? I absolutely love the concept. Now, Na'Vi, I think that sums it up. 8 points. It's been a hard time for Na'Vi to get anything going. It seems they are just looking flat overall. It's just like a, drink that's been left on the side that you've kind of gone back to on the second day, and you're hoping it still might have a little fizz to it. It might still be tasty. You're a little bit desperate. Otherwise, you've only got water. And then
the
it's
skin has developed on the top, so that's the thing.
Yeah, not oh, that's horrible. That's really stuck in my head. Yeah, I didn't need that. But could you just give me a very brief summary of the super settings, even if this goes on, because there's not going to be a full team wipe from this. It might just be a couple of tags. Just because I know a couple of people were asking very briefly.
But obviously, this weekend we're coming back to a more traditional format. And the important thing to note is that there's going to be teams making these plays. Like the bridge camp, perfect example, right? 4 guaranteed kills. And I mean, Avenger even made this point on the desk, right? Coming back to this weekend, we're looking more for kind of that average points per game as opposed to going for that all-out, pin your hopes on one win, qualify through, get through the format. But majority of points, I think Avengers, I always trust Avengers math. 65 to 70% of total points are going to be coming from kills. So we're going to see a massive switch up for some of these teams that don't like to play center. And unfortunately, eyes go towards Na'Vi. This kind of edge play that usually results in a higher average points per game. So we're not looking for kind of consistency in terms of going for the win. And it sounds weird to say that because every team wants to win games, right? And ultimately in this format, 10 kills for the win and however many kills you get to boot. But it's not as important this time around. So that's why we've seen a bit of a switch up.
Yeah. Good summary. I like that. We have seen the circle update is moved towards the west. So the actual center point is the kind of island that's in between Rozhok and Georgia Pole almost. And I'd say the mass area of land would be somewhat the north. But even then, because Watertown is debatable if it even ever moves away from it and it treats it like actual water. So, I mean, I guess the north is about to get very busy. For now, we are seeing TSM having a little go towards Sonics, and maybe a little bit of revenge could be quite nice for them. Been kind of pushed around a little. Let's see if Iroh can maybe get a little bit of form going as well, because when Iroh comes online, he is a nasty little player. Uber, he's been plucked out of the vehicle on the move. FaZe trying to get themselves kind of just above that little island, it looks like, as said, on the river. And already Gen G keeping track of that. Iroh in a bad spot here. He's got a lot of players around him. Now, Sonics have to be careful on their way up. Na'Vi getting a couple of kills here and there as well.
And Iroh has kind of been left to fend off Sonics to himself here. Actually, as I say that, Miriku's going to find 2 on the ground floor. Mime and Strimsy will fall. Maybe a little bit overzealous on the side of Sonics here because Tiggleton's now trying to come up and reinforce, but Miraku will get the first flush through. This could be terrible here. H-Win finally going to trade that one out, so it's just Iroh left standing. He's down to 16 HP. That molly through the window. Is it going to catch him? It did catch him. It's going to tick a couple of times more, but Iroh should be able to reset and med once again.
Yeah, but look at this. Now VP are turning up. Now this is where it gets interesting because Tiggleton is going to be put to task of trying to handle this. He's got players behind him. Shots coming through, sure. Batulins is tagged up. So Batulins got to be a little bit more cautious now, depend a little heavier on the other boys. But you can see the state of the two teams in this compound. Not comfy. No one is happy with this. Tiggleton is prone to kind of staying alive by a defilade and that little ridge that rolls around. H-Win has still got Iroh to clear out of here, who's been a absolute nuisance. And there we go. Iroh has found H-Win. So this looks like this could be a real issue for Sonics overall. I think recovery might be out of the question at this point. And just because you're being so nice at home, a couple of code, a couple of little bits and pieces for you guys there to grab hold of as the code is in game for you.
But just a second, though, Tiggleton actually flushed out mine with that nade. So I don't know if that information was relayed accurately of Iroh's whereabouts, because the res was still a possibility if Tiggleton was able to deal with Iroh. VP now beating down the door. They have numbers on this fight, and they're looking to try and capitalize and pick up this, well, what's left of it, I guess, the kill points.
Yeah, there isn't much to sweep up, to be fair. It's 2 players, and they're hoping to do it with grenades, and Iroh's trying to just get out. Maybe actually can make it into Watertown, and another shift towards the east. Okay, west to east. We've had a back and forth sort of scenario. Now, Gen G are probably super happy, considering the compound they fought for early. Bear in mind, there was another team in there, and they fought for that to take it, and you can see as to why. 4 a.m. rotated early. They got in the vehicles as soon as they could to get to their position. So some of those early investments into positioning and fights are going to pay dividends in the circle.
And one important thing to note will be the water factor here, but we'll have to wait and see, because this fight actually, once it concludes, I don't think there's anybody else on the south side of this circle. Tiggleton down to a lick of HP. He's got to try and get something done here, maybe a consolation kill point or 2, but I don't think he spotted the one player on the roof. He did finally get a glimpse there, but just a matter of time. 25 HP. He's only got bandages. He's only running 60-odd% boost, so the clock is ticking for him. He's still got Iroh to worry about as well. Iroh repositioning towards the 2-story balk now is another thing for Tiggleton to worry about.
And keep in mind, you know, Sonics were on the come up, right? They were looking to maybe get in towards that top 3, top 2, and they're getting pushed down by the current #1 team at the present. You know, obviously they did suffer as well towards Iroh, who's going to give away his position, but he's taken down Sonics for it. Now VP are aware of this, but they don't have too much to worry in that form. Iroh can be an issue, but I doubt he's going to be able to get all 4. Hey, prove me wrong. I always love to see it. Iroh is a great player, but for now we have to look towards the circle and what's been going on. Iroh's put himself in a cage for now. He's just chilling in towards Watertown. Looking towards the north, it is busy. We have a lot of teams on that side. So in the south, I think Triumph have 2 players, and then this is all that we have. Iroh is just, you know, straight up in the water, just watching that little ridge line, see if anyone comes around. He is currently in the circle, so he's, I don't want to say safe, but he's in. So good work from Iroh in the end. We are seeing a bit of a push through coming in. K7 on the receiving end of a lot of this. The cover they pulled up to is far from ideal, considering the amount of teams up here in the north. A lot of eyes can turn around to this. That's 14th place for them. 4 a.m. again, just kind of digging in their heels, even flexing out of the compound a little. I like that, keeping control of this ridgeline, because it is the only issue with this compound, I feel, is some of the ridgelines can be hard to control if you're only playing from the buildings. If you move out of them a little bit, yes, it's risky, but you maintain way more information coming through your way. And you're seeing that God V easily taking out Senya as they appeared towards the kind of eastern side of them.
Yeah, and 4 a.m. still roaming around the same area. Like you said, that early move has given them a lot of space now. They're able to kind of get over towards the 3-story. Initially, it was only really one member of 4 a.m. causing problems up here from the yellow. But Genji as well, that fight with TSM early on, look what it's given them, a god compound now overlooking. Obviously, this is the phase 3 into 4 shifts, so fully expecting this one to pull north, and it absolutely does. A lot of teams reading that. Like you said, Triumph is still on the south side. VP was the other one we talked about, that late fight in the Sunken City. But now they have the river to cross.
I'm trying to think of who's down there. I think it's Shoot to Kill, who might be slightly towards the bridge side of things. I don't know if they'll actually try and actively fight on it, or if simply they're just kind of holding it because it's a bit of safety. The north is not safe, however, and we have the, you know, within the top 3, we've got 2 teams now battling it out. Liquid and a Freak of Freaks. A Freak of Freaks kind of very much towards the north side of this fight, and then Liquid a little further, kind of following it anti-clockwise. And Liquid are down to 3, so Freak of Freaks do outnumber them. And it looks like VP have struggled on the way across. Batuland and Spyro made it, but yes, Shoot to Kill have caused problems here. Luke just above Alo up there too. They're not fully aware of the positions yet, but they've got to be careful of their backs. They've got 4 a.m. around, they've got Na'Vi not too far off. Now, luckily, the hillside behind them should keep them somewhat safe, but you've got to stay on your toes in this sort of position.
Yeah, Lou's actually still over to the south side of the river, and he's going to be relaying some of this information, but Volley Bear will show his hand here, tries to get the spray with the barrel, only gets him down to about 10 HP, can't finish off the kill. Now, that could be an opening, actually, for SDK to push onto these 2 members, but it's going to be difficult to really read the situation. Batulin's going to send some shots across, and that's going to give away his position to SDK. Initially, Alo now looking for it. You see, reacting off that information. And unfortunately, sequence of events, honestly, Lou was feeding so much information to his teammates on the south side of the river there that Batulins and Spyro could have actually made a move onto Alo and Luke, but Sia now, he's going to be the thorn in the side of Virtus Pro. Look at this angle uphill.
Oh my. Does he... Oh, Inonix spots it out of everyone. That's like a 500... a good 500-meter shot, I'm pretty sure. Like, maybe a little more. That may be a little over. And he's the one to spot that. Incredible work. Now, FaZe is starting to linger on the horizon as well. This could mean more issues for Virtus Pro beginning and potentially Shoot to Kill if they decide to kind of sweep through. FaZe, it's not a lot of cover to work with here. Luckily for them, the biggest issue they'll have is Lou kind of working the way through on the coastline. Alo seems aware of the possibility, but Lou's going to have to try and creep up. Nice shot from Batulins. Do with these points, though, as well. Bear in mind, the knock ain't much. It's all about the flush, and Luke's going to grab it. So Shoot to Kill. Happy with that work from Batulins. Thank you very much. I'll put that in my pocket. No problem.
Yeah, Lou actually managed to make his way across the river. He obviously was up at the hangar previously. And he's actually encroaching on FaZe's position now. Whether or not they had a good opportunity to spot this out. Again, information-wise, I'm not sure if they were able to really pinpoint his location when Lou was trying to back up his teammates. But You can see FaZe are hyper tunneled towards the east. Now, I don't think VP can make a full push on that, but we'll have to wait and see. Keep your eye on the kill feed if Lou manages to find an opening on that fight. You see, yeah, there you go. He's caught wind of 2 at least. Again, it's just difficult for Spyro and Batulins to really push west towards this. Hello.
Hello?
Okay.
I didn't... Freaka Freaks just keep surprising me, man. I swear to God, every time I see them do something, I'm like, okay, you know what, it works for you, but that didn't. Hickory kind of met the end of getting away with it, it feels like. That should be a flush from EJ. It does point in the pocket. That's 1 kill on the board. Cat is super low as well. Clip's gonna find that from afar. And Liquid finally finding this fight kind of in combination with AAA. They are going to pinch this down. Now, I don't think Fury are going to push from the compound and see if anyone else would potentially dive into this fight. And I think it is going to be between these two. And Freaka Freaks chasing that fight, pushing this way, has kind of got them pinched now.
Yeah, it's actually, Liquid going to make use of this knock, actually, to push back over towards. A little bit of damage goes on to one of the AAA players. Again, Liquid don't have an awful lot to play into, so they do need to capitalize on this pressure they're able to create onto our Freaka Freaks and AAA. Down to 3, James did fall, and no kills on the board for Liquid just yet either, so a good opportunity to fix both of those.
Yeah. You can see him still kind of trying to adjust around. I've got to say, the way this stands, 4AM and Infantry, maybe Gen G as well, those 3 hold a lot of the cards in this lobby.
Yep.
Have the big compounds, have the main kind of slice of things. Again, if anyone else is able to pull off a win, other than those 3, it'd be incredibly surprising and very well done. And it looks like, though, Freaka Freaks this time will bow out a little early, so that kind of top end of things does become a little bit more available. Gen G would be loving to jump up here, you know, sitting quite nicely on the top of this. There goes Virtus Pro as well, so, you know, Lou can't do much more than that. I mean, that's the best he could get in this one. They got stuck on that south side. The cross, shoot to kill, kept them, you know, pushed down. FaZe doing the same. And I am seeing Gen G looking proactive. I wonder if they start trying to sweep out that south so they have the springboard to play across. But now, AAA looking towards Liquid. And yeah, look at Pio, always the first man forward. Never afraid to get into a fight either. So the nade's up and over. FaZe will know that there's a problem coming their way. I just don't know what they're going to do. Only 2 players now.
They're pinched as well. Look at SDK. Their player icons are all pointing this way, so a lot of pressure coming onto Gustav and Fuzzface right now. So obviously SDK getting forced in by the blue along those ridges. And Gen G advancing as well. Look at the map. FaZe are absolutely stuck.
Oh, and same could be said for Liquid now. Fury actually decided to push out of their compound a little and kind of keep them locked to this. AAA are going to be holding the northeast side. Fury have back to their compound, it seems. They've kind of, you know, had a little look. Nah, didn't fancy it. Gen G as well. Peeling away for now, but Pio's still giving it a look. FaZe, oh no, the Molly's just got Gustav as well. I mean, he's got meds to spare, but look at the vest, look at the helm. No smokes either. I don't know if they can cross out of this now.
I mean, SDK have a similar problem with this next circle shift. Obviously, Gen G, like you said, peeling away. They've read the situation perfectly. It's not really worth committing 3 players down to hold. The Blue's probably going to decide this fight. But actually, Pio's going to get a knock on the Halo here. No real smoke cover coming out for the SDK boys initially. Smoke's
FaZe are going to move on that.
What's just pushing?
Oh, absolutely. You see Enoki going to get on that. Nice work from Fuzzface on one. He needs Gustav to get there, but it's a little late in the day to at least get it cleanly. And Gustav, yes, he'll work his way forward. But now this is absolutely treacherous. Once you leave that little ditch and divot, Gen G, making it a little easier for FaZe to survive. But that cross is still in the open. You can see Pio's maybe scratching his head a little. In towards the north, we have seen Mexi now getting knocked and flushed. So I think it's just Clib alive up there. Gustav does get off the heel, waits for the smoke to plume and just holds his breath and tries to make it over. He has made it at least to the next step, but across this ridgeline, 4AM, Infantry, Gen G, the big boys await. So Liquid going down in 7th this time. This is looking like a very strong lobby that's being left.
Yeah, Boliang will find Gustav there, and a huge opportunity for Gen G. All 3 teams are ahead of them on the leaderboard, have been eliminated, and they're only 3 points behind 2nd and 3rd and 6 behind 1st. So look, towards them to try and make some moves here and capitalize on this game already. Infantry as well, they could make up some ground, but 4am on the move now. Looking to regroup with Crazy and Lou. A little bit of a drift, actually. Is he missing a tire, or is that just style points coming across? They're going to pull up towards AAA, though.
Okay, they've picked the fight they want here. They've picked the territory they're willing to fight for. So they've got to make this a clean one. Keep in mind, Furia could do some damage to them down the line, but let's see if they get any shots coming through their way. They have to clear past 2 players. Janku's one of them. Looking for the first. Yeah, Lou. Easy work for him, using this kind of ridgeline perfectly. Even sprays it and gets good connection towards Gems. And our last one alive cleared through. Nice work from 4am. Very, very clinical play.
There's so much space over towards this side now. Fury are kind of pinned back towards the compound, but look at the setup. Nobody in the center right now. Everybody holding on to what they've got on the edge. And it pulls right the way towards infantry. So this massive move from 4am does get them the kill points, but now could be their downfall with this next circle post in infantry. And Gen G, I expect to hold on to what they've got, like I said. But Fury and 4am, maybe a desperation play here. 4am might just settle for the kill points on Furia, to be honest.
It's going to be hard for them to work in. I mean, there is that ridgeline that kind of keeps the south locked into each other. But you can see the problem for Gen G, though, is that if they don't play very, very keenly towards the edges of that ridgeline, they're going to get picked apart. Furia, though, what options do they have here? A little bit of cover in the form of trees, but even then, this is clutching at straws. You can see the good spray coming out from Loki. A little bit of a connection there, but it looks like 4am might be the one to claim it. Rusty's got 4 HP. Yeah, crazy one to find it, and actually get the flush too. While this happens, infantry starting to move up a little, using the ridge, using that little kind of, I don't know, terrain to maybe get a little closer to Gen G to make sure they can keep track of what they're up to, keep that information, and also maintain map control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, infantry's win condition here is Gen G not really able to, well, preventing them from being able to flex out. Esther's position is disgusting, by the way. If infantry do decide to push onto that, he's in a really, really nasty spot. Infantry actually going to open up Loki. The double nade will flush him out.
Huge nade.
Is that going to be the green light, though? I'm not sure if infantry are just looking to weaken Gen G to maximize their chances in the late game here, but you can see they're prioritizing kind of that central. Furia will fall. The infantry are prioritizing that central position. You can see Longsker making the move after that kill comes through.
Gen G could potentially jump up, even in their current position. 7 kills this game. They won these flushes, they won these points, but right now they're on the receiving end of everything being thrown down by infantry. Infantry in 7th as it stands, but jumping as they go. Every point that comes in is pushing them a little bit higher. But 4am still have 4 standing. That's the crazy part. They were probably in the harder position to play with, but here they come, creating their own pathway forward. Smokes go in, Molotovs. It's close, but I don't think it's done the damage. Bolyang is still alive. God V still working forward. Another smoke committed. 6 more in the pocket of God V as well. How's he doing it? And while this stands, Gen G quietly await down. Looking a little culled here, down to 2 players. And the circle updates, it's quite kind to most, but I've got to say, 4am starting to look a little scary here.
I mean, just look at the minimap. Look at how much control 4am have right now. Gen G and infantry absolutely pinned with their backs against the blue. Yes, the circle is, I guess, generous in terms of not really requiring everyone to move, but 4am have already made so much progress into this now. They just need to wait this out. Again, if they wait for infantry to fight Gen G or just wait for the blue to clear it.
What do they do? Let's look at the options. Okay, infantry, bit of utility here and there. And they've got, players to play with. They've got their 4 players still standing. Gen G can't be the ones to instigate on this. They have to be kind of, as said, the final team to the fight, but they're in a precarious spot. So, this is a stalemate. Until one of them is forced to make a move, I feel no one's going to be proactive on this.
Again, infantry pushing up and kind of getting, I guess, kept honest by 4am's push. It's going to kind of keep them now just waiting out. I mean, Gen G, again, they're down to 2. They are definitely going to be the ones that try and show up last to this fight, but I feel like infantry are the ones that need to make some sort of move uphill towards 4am, because even if Gen G die, it's going to be so difficult for infantry to get an entry onto 4am's position.
It looks like they're trying to consider a plan. Seeing those smokes committed, maybe just to occlude Genji's vision. But you can see now Godv seeing that, hearing that. He'll put shots towards it. And it's time to try and run, trying to time it just right. And Genji on the move as well. They're all going to try and make the shuffle up while this happens. Yes, okay, infantry do make it mostly towards at least the east for now. But 4AM still have so much terrain to play with. This is going to be a literal uphill battle for infantry if they decide to try and work up this. 4AM will control that central point. So infantry just trying to follow, maybe get a fight that's not even favorable, but maybe just slightly possible.
No, infantry still just biding their time, waiting for Genji to fall. Make sure they can guarantee that second place. PO and Esther, though, don't write them off just yet. They have good angles towards infantry. 4AM just maintaining formation here. Look at how stacked up infantry are. One nade would be absolutely insane onto that position. You see the utility getting traded out back and forth now. A little bit of damage going on to Crazy, but keep your eyes on Esther. Actually, PO going to fall first. It looked like Esther was the one going to try and open up for Genji. Look at it, infantry are so close to the blue.
There's no way they can get through this. The blue's going to force them forward. They are dead in the water. One nade comes out. It's... Oh my god!
Oh,
4AM!
my word.
Seriously?
I mean, the timing was perfect,
4AM
right?
and nades, man.
Genji fall, and the nade is already primed in his hand to clear up infantry. Literally read it like a book. Fantastic stuff from 4AM, and honestly, that came down to phase 7, right? The fact that they were able to move so far into that circle, set up that defensive line, have one player back, you know, kind of anchoring for the rest of the team. 4AM just kept everybody else at bay. They absolutely bullied that end game.
Yeah, I mean, Genji did well at the end there, but that nade, my oh my. That's a way to win out the game, isn't it? Don't even need to shoot at them, just drop a little, you know.
You can see the looks of confusion on their face as well. It was like, oh,
you know,
yeah, we won.
Wait, that actually got all of them. Yeah, I mean, the timing on it was fantastic. It all lined up. And then, as I said, maybe you expect to get a knock, some bits and pieces, but nade was just perfect. Now, if anything, that's going to shoot 4AM skyrocketing on the leaderboard now as well. That was a good couple of kills to their name and the first place. So this is going to kind of, I don't want to say necessarily shake things up, but it adds a